the wife of Meng Hongwei, the Interpol president held in China since September, has sought asylum in France for herself and her twin children. Grace Meng and the 7-year-old live in Lyon, the international police agency's headquarters. Meng Hongwei disappeared during a visit to China. In October, the Chinese authorities said Mr. Meng was being investigated over suspected bribe-taking. His wife and children are under police protection, having received threats. Quoted by France Interradio on Friday, she said, "I fear they will kidnap me. I have received strange phone calls. Even my car was damaged." 2 Chinese, a man and a woman, followed me to the hotel, she said. In media interviews, she has refused to show her face, fearing for her safety. On the day her husband went missing, she said he had sent her a social media message telling her to wait for my call, before sending a knife emoji, signifying danger. Since his disappearance on 25 September, no details have emerged about his prison conditions or the charges against him. The 65-year-old's job as Interpol president was largely ceremonial and did not require him to return to China often. He was one of 6 vice ministers in China's public security ministry and had 14 years of experience in China's criminal justice system, so he has much knowledge about senior Communist Party officials. He was elected Interpol president in November 2016, the first Chinese person to take up the post, and was scheduled to serve until 2020. China's new National Supervision Commission, an anti-corruption agency, said Mr. Meng was being investigated for violation of law, but unlike in other high-profile detentions, it did not mention a charge of violating party rules. The anti-corruption body has targeted thousands of people in a campaign driven by President Xi Jinping. China has not presented any evidence to justify the allegation against Mr. Meng. China said Mr. Meng had written a resignation letter and Interpol Secretary General Jürgen Stock acknowledged that he had received it on 7 October. "There was no reason for me to suspect that anything was false or wrong," he said. Quoted by the Associated Press news agency, Mr. Stock said Interpol's rules did not allow him to investigate Mr. Meng's disappearance. Interpol accepted the resignation letter without further comment. In November, Interpol elected South Korean Kim Jong-un as its new president, rejecting a Russian candidate who had been tipped to succeed Mr. Meng. The International Criminal Police Organization was founded in 1923 in Vienna, and its original members included Germany, France and China. The United Kingdom and United States did not join until later. In 1956, it became officially known as Interpol and has since grown into a network of 195 member countries. Its primary aim is to promote cooperation and share intelligence between police forces. The General Secretariat oversees its day-to-day work. It focuses on crimes such as terrorism, drug trafficking, people smuggling, child pornography and money laundering. A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Hongwei, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park in eastern Henan Province said it would waive the $9.40 65 yuan ticket-free for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones. Shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei success in bliss." The offer would last until 29 December, the South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a bar in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story, we covered yesterday https://COQXL1IYPQL Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuoShunji. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpada Shenzhen-based Legend display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Meng, 46, used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also allege she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Meng, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring the United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Meng's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, two Canadians, a former diplomat, and a businessman have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security. United States President Donald Trump said last week that he might intervene in the United States Justice Department's case against Ms. Meng if it would serve national security interests or help achieve a trade deal with China. If I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing, what's good for national security, I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary, he told Reuters news agency. Canada reacted by urging Mr. Trump not to politicize the situation. Our extradition partners should not seek to politicize the extradition process or use it for ends other than the pursuit of justice, Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland said. The United States military says it has killed 62 fighters from the Islamist group Al-Shabaab in 6 airstrikes in Somalia. 4 airstrikes on Saturday killed 32 militants, and a further 2 on Sunday killed 28, it said in a statement. These were the deadliest air attacks in Somalia since November 2017, when the United States said it had killed 100 militants. Somalia has seen a sharp increase in the number of airstrikes and casualties since President Donald Trump took office in the United States in January 2017. A tally by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals that at least 400 people have been killed in airstrikes since the beginning of 2017, far more than the previous 10 years combined. The latest strikes bring to at least 30 the number carried out in Somalia so far this year, compared with 35 recorded in 2017. The United States has a huge military base in neighboring Djibouti, from where it launches attacks on the militants.